Welcome to our vendor spotlight today. We have Kelly Griffon here from MapHabit. And Kelly, I'm going to kick it over to you. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you, Paul. I'm Kelly Griffon. I'm with MapHabit, like Paul said. I'm really excited to show you guys the MapHabit system. We are an assistive technology application for individuals with intellectual disabilities, those with traumatic brain injury, and those with Alzheimer's and related dementias. We started out really in the Alzheimer's and related dementia space because our founder, his uncle had Alzheimer's dementia, and he wanted to create something that would help him to continue to be as independent as possible and give him some support in following up with things that he had to do throughout the day. So that's really where we started. Then we got connected with the LuMind Association. And the LuMind Association is an organization that studies the effects of Alzheimer's dementia on individuals with Down syndrome. So because many people with Down syndrome will develop Alzheimer's dementia as they age. So we really got started in that space, and that's where we got kind of going with the IDD space as well, because we recognized that those skills of maintaining the skills that you have are really similar to the skills that you need to learn tasks as well and be more independent. So that's where we started. Really takes the form of task analysis or visual scheduling and what we used to call social stories into the next level of having an app. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how the MapHabit system works. We're going to introduce you to Rayleigh. Rayleigh is a young woman with Down syndrome and autism that she started using MapHabit very specifically during the pandemic. So we worked with their family, worked with her mom, and really worked on one of the things that they really wanted to focus on is a toileting schedule, because she doesn't have the ability to feel when she has to toilet. So we worked on a toileting schedule and also toileting cleanup. So that's where we really started with Rayleigh. Started using the MapHabit app and really focusing on those specific 2 maps for her. And really the whole point of MapHabit is and I'm going to go to the next slide. You create a map, the person does the map, they build the map, they follow the step-by-step, they repeat it, and you're building those habits. We know that as you're doing something the same way over and over again, you're building good habits. So we did that for Rayleigh. Rayleigh, her mom was super excited because one day she had had an accident, which sometimes happens, but she had done the whole cleanup herself, and actually tied the bag and everything, and they were really excited. So that really invigorated them to create more maps, and that was in 2020, and she still uses MapHabit today. And she uses it very differently now for things like job skills and cooking and things like that as well. So everything that you see on MapHabit, we have, and I'm going to show you the next slide real quick. You can have maps that are related to those activities of daily living, like toileting, eating, bathing, brushing your teeth, but then more of the ones of the instrumental ADLs, like shopping and housework and managing the community. And then also things like memory health and nutrition, and also those transition ages of working on employment skills. So those are some of the areas that we have maps for that we can show a little bit. But really, I wanted to talk about what is a map. So when we talk about a map, it really is that step-by-step process of how to complete a task. So we're looking at, like, so let's say we're working on, like this one is making a chicken quesadilla. What are all the steps that go into that? So we're going to create this map, and it'll walk through it. It can include video, it can include audio, and it can include text. So as we're building these maps, we're following along and doing that. But then once that map is created, then it's scheduled out for that individual user to use on, like chicken quesadilla may not be a great example, but let's say it's a toothbrushing map. So it's scheduled out for twice a day. So they're going to get a notification that comes across their device that it's time to do that task. And then if they click on that notification, it's going to go directly into that map, and they're going to walk them through that process, and they're going to see that as they go. And then later in the day, like in the evening time, they're going to get that notification to do it. So it's scheduled out on a daily basis. So the map's created, and then it's scheduled for them to complete. And then let's see. It's individualized for the user so that we have template maps that you can use. But then what we know is that people learn best if they see themselves doing that task, or a preferred peer or a caregiver, or also their own appliances. So if somebody's learning how to do laundry, it's not helpful if we have a map of a generic laundry machine when it doesn't match up to their laundry machine. So we want you to take our template maps and then customize them to put the individual specific information in there as well. And then let's see. Like I went a little bit ahead. So the templates can be used as is or customized to include video and audio on each step. And then let's see. So this is a little bit about the member journey. So, or what we call the members, but it's the individual or the user. The initial opt-in and approval process, and then once they've opted into using the MapHabit system, then we would complete an initial questionnaire and intake process. We would mail them the tablet or the kit and set up their account, and then we would do some member interviews to help with creating personalized maps or personalizing our template maps. And we're going to have like an onboarding process for them. And then we're going to help them. And then we're going to help them on that onboarding process. We're going to meet with them typically over Google Meets for that reason. And then we're going to meet with them, help them create those personalized maps. And then we're going to let them start using them. And then we're going to evaluate those, and we're going to do check-ins along the way. Initially, we do very close together check-ins so that we can make sure that the person and their care support team are really understanding the app and how it works. But then as we go along, we'll maybe check in once a week, then maybe once a month, and then maybe a little bit further. Typically, people will get the hang of it pretty quickly, because when I show you the MapHabit system, you're going to be like, oh, this is pretty easy to understand. So we are there to help, and we're there to help all throughout the process. We have MapHabit coaches that help along the way and can be contacted anytime. But we find that people get used to the app and they understand it pretty quickly. So I did not talk about the fact that MapHabit can be used on any Android or iOS device. We do have MapHabit dedicated devices that are iPads, really, that are dedicated to the MapHabit system, and so that we can have that, they have that ability to have the MapHabit system on their device. The other thing that's really cool about MapHabit is the person that gets the app, so that it's centered around the user or the individual, and then they can invite as many people as they want to be part of their connections. So that means you can truly have that wraparound program for the individual, where the OT is part of MapHabit, the behavior analyst, job coach, care partners, mom, dad, whoever that needs to be part of that connections can see these maps, help with them, and help create and schedule those maps for the individual. And there's also a way to message within the app system so that they can opt into that. It's not necessarily required that you have that messaging system, but you can have a system in there for messaging so that the team can message with one another to talk about how Kelly's doing with her maps, if we need to create a different map, if we need to drop in some pictures because the OT is doing a specific activity with the individual that they want them to create they want a map created for that so that they can do it at home as well. So there's a team environment in there as well. So I'm going to quickly go to the MapHabit system, and I'm going to flip my iPad around so that's a little bit easier to see. So what you're seeing here is the MapHabit system and the homepage. I'm under Andy. Andy's kind of our demo guy, so he's not a real person. So but we have several maps in Andy's account so that we can kind of see what MapHabit system looks like. So when you first go into MapHabit, you're going to see that Andy has a very specific schedule that he has mapped out for him for the day. He can quickly see what he has to do today. So he's going to get up. He's going to today he's going to fill his pillbox, but he brushes his teeth, takes his morning meds. He's going to shave, and then he goes to work. He's got some work maps, and then he's got a dentist appointment. Then he's going to come home and make dinner and do laundry. So those are all the things he has scheduled out for him today. All the maps don't have to be scheduled, but because this is a demo account, we're seeing that, it's action-packed day. We don't necessarily want somebody to start with that many maps. We want them to start with maybe 2 or 3 maps. Get them used to the device, get them used to the system, and then maybe bring on some more maps. So I'm going to quickly show you. This is the home page. And then if I go into a map, I'm just going to click on the shaving map. You're going to be able to see what it looks like.
Time to shave. Go to the next step to watch the overview video.
So a lot of our maps, let me pause this
Before
for a second.
shaving,
a lot of our maps start out with a overview video of the overall task, and then it breaks down the step. So that they can watch the overview video, then break down the steps, and then they can watch the video again. But anything you see, like I was talking about, if this is one of our template maps, you can customize that however you need. So then it just goes through the process.
On shaver.
And I'm not going to make you guys look at the whole entire map.
Starting at the jawline and moving. Shave
you're going to get the point of how the MapHabit system works with the maps. And then I'm going to go to over here to on the top right is a reports menu. And that is, it will bring up a very simple reports menu for the individual, like how many maps they use this week, if they created a map, things like that. So that is in there. It's very simple. We do have more reporting on the back end that we will provide on a monthly basis that kind of gives a monthly summary of what all they did that month. And then over here to the right is the most frequently used maps. They may not be scheduled for them. So let's say it is the chicken quesadilla map. They use it a lot. It might show up here, but it might not be actually scheduled out because it's not necessarily they're going to do that every day. Or things like core crunches. We have a whole series of maps that are on core health. We have maps that are on mindfulness and relaxation. So maybe the person needs a map for calming because they need support in if there's a large transition or something like that, they need a map. So we have quite a few maps that are related to calming as well that you can use. So this is Andy's homepage. This is what he's going to see most of the time. But they're going to be scheduled out for him so that if he's not in the map, he's still going to get that notification on his device. And if he just clicks on that notification that comes across the screen, just like any notification that comes across your phone, it'll go directly into the map. So he doesn't necessarily need to be sitting in the app all day long and have it open. As long as it's scheduled for him, he's going to get that notification and he can just click on it. The Maps tab is where you see Andy's maps. So these are all the maps that he already has in his account. And when you're seeing them in his account, you can see at the bottom that edit button. And if you click the edit button, it'll bring up the map and then they can reorder steps. They can swap out pictures for pictures of themselves, or they can remove or edit steps and things like that. There's also some autoplay settings. And also we have an option where you can make the maps visible to certain people. So that's important for if we really want to encourage people to invite people to be part of their connections. But we understand that not everybody needs to see every map. So maybe you do have a very specific toileting map that you're using on a daily basis, but the only people that really need to see that are maybe your primary support person and a personal assistant that helps you throughout the day. You don't need your classroom teacher or your your day program provider or something like that to see that map. So you can choose who sees those maps as well. So we have built in some of those protections as well. And then under browse all maps, we have, like it shows there, the number is 10. If I bring up all the different types like ADRD, which is Alzheimer's related dementia, and then the intellectual disabilities, neurodiversity, and TBI, we have about 1,000 maps that you can use as is or bring them over. So anything from brushing your hair to community involvement, we have a lot of maps that are also like dental appointments or doctor visits, trying to get people used to going to the dentist, going to the doctor. Some of those graduated exposure maps related to dental, so that maybe the first map is you have a dentist appointment in 2 weeks. We're gonna this map's gonna have a picture of your dentist, and then you're gonna have like just the walkthrough of what a dental appointment looks like. But maybe they're gonna fill a cavity, so we need to start working on maybe some graduate exposure. This is what it sounds like. What a drill sounds like. They're going to ask you to do this. So we have some of that built in as well. And then we have maps for Engage Spark, which are more about like core activity and motor skills in that way. And then we have those on fine motor skills, and then those on mindfulness and regulation. So some of those things like just meditation, relaxing, the starfish breathing calming activity, which is very helpful for individuals that are needing just to have that moment of to be calm, and just things like that. I'm trying to think of anything else. Nutrition. So we have them broken down into categories, but also you can just look at all those maps. Like I said, once you have those maps that you want, you can copy those maps, and once they're in their account, then that's where you can actually edit those maps and bring them up. And then I'm going to briefly say, you can create a map from scratch. So if you want to create a new map, it's really easy. I always say it's like if you can post on Facebook, you can create a map, because it's just plug and play. Choose a cover image, title it, choose who gets to see it, add a step, and then same thing for the next step. So it really is really easy to create a map in the MapHabit system. And then scheduling is where you schedule it. It's like an Outlook calendar. You can bring it up, you choose the map you want to schedule, you choose what times, you choose the notification. By default, the individual is always going to get the notification, but let's say they have a direct support professional that is helping them, and they want to notify the direct support professional at the same time, like, hey, it's time for Kelly to get ready to go to the dentist. So you can do that, or you can have it where the individual gets a notification by themselves, but then if the map was not completed, it's going to notify somebody, so they can follow up with the person and say, hey, I see that you didn't complete that map. Do we need to go over that map with? So we can look at that as well. And then connections, like I said, that's where you just keep all of your individuals, and I don't know why it's not coming up. There we go. So that's where the individuals' connections or care partners can be added to their account, and then they can quickly have their own little picture, so that if the person's in their app, they can go, oh, I have my support coordinator. Here's a picture of my support coordinator. So maybe they need that recognition, especially if somebody has some dementia. They may not remember who their BCBA is or who their care partners all are, and they can go back and refer quickly. And some of these maps, I don't know if any of these have them in here, they can actually create little maps about themselves. And I find that really helpful for, like, let's say somebody is transitioning into a new environment for the first time. Maybe to make them feel more comfortable with that environment, the direct support professional or the home manager creates a little map about the house, or a little map about themselves, so that they can get used to, they can get to know that person before meeting them. And then the last tab on here is the album tab. And that album tab is exactly what it sounds like. It's where you keep you store all your videos and your pictures and your audio as you're creating maps. So you may have, you may go through and do a whole map, like, let's say you're making a map on how to scramble eggs. You're going to take pictures and video of that and store them in here. And then when you're ready to create that map, you're putting them into the map. Let's see. That's pretty much the MapHabit system. The one thing I will say is that up here to the top left or top right, I'm sorry, I'm under the individual users, but let's say you're a home manager or a day program provider that you're supporting several people that use MapHabit. We're going to connect you on the back end. So you're only going to have one login, and then you can quickly toggle through all the people that you support. And then also you can create maps in your account that are generic and then push them over into their account and then further customize them if needed and so just transfer them over. So that's a little bit about that. I like to highlight that a little bit as well. Let me go back to my PowerPoint real quick, see if I missed anything. So a little bit about how people are using MapHabit.
Just, Kelly, just to let you know, we just have less than a minute to go.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to go, one more thing. We talked about Rayleigh earlier, so I just wanted to end with Rayleigh. Rayleigh started using MapHabit for very specific activities of daily living for toileting and things like that. But now she's using it for job coaching and job skills. So she volunteers at the Humane Society 2 days a week, and she uses MapHabit, and they build the maps for her to use there. So I'm going to stop it there, and I'm going to open up for questions. Just 1 second.
Any questions for Kelly in the time we have left? None? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll be sharing out the video in case anybody in your organization wasn't able to be here to see it. We're also going to share out Kelly's contact information and the contact information from MapHabit. Kelly, this is awesome. It's a really incredible product, and I can see so many uses for it. And I'm sure most of the folks on the call also can see a lot of uses for it. So really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you again next Thursday, where it will be Annie, and she is going to be doing assessment coaching tips. So as you're getting into doing your assessments with individuals, Annie is a professional at this, and she will give you some tips on how to best do your assessments. So we'll see you next Thursday. Take care, everyone.